We are watching the urban debate in Magicbricks Now, and another point that normally upsets citizens, especially the citizens of Bangalore. And this one really has the civic body, the BBMP, has touched a very, very raw nerve. Round 2 of the government versus citizens begins on road widening and the steel flyover. Now, activists and citizens are up in arms once again as the civic body, the BBMP, has given citizens a 10-day ultimatum. You have 10 days as citizens of Bangalore to present any objections over chopping down not one, not two, not a 50, but 112 trees on the beautiful Jaymahal road. That's the road that you're looking at on your screen right now. The BBMP has said that they will chop 112 trees. The government says it's planning to axe these trees to widen the roads, but citizens and activists who are protesting once again says the government is in fact setting the stage for the controversial steel flyover that has already been stayed by various courts. Shrija sent us this report.
The NGT may have stayed the controversial steel flyover project. However, after B-Day, it is the BBMP who is now planning to fell trees, especially on this particular road, that is the Jaymahal road. I'm right now standing on Jaymahal road. In fact, as you can see behind me, these trees will become the past in the history pages of the BBMP. What we also know is that a total of 112 trees will be felled only to widen this particular road, that is Jaymahal, which connects from Cantonment railway station to the Ballari road, and from Ballari road to Makery Circle, and which then goes on to the BDA junction. Also, what we understand is that this particular project dates back to 2010 when the cabinet approved the project for the road widening purpose of the Jaymahal road. But however, it ran into legal hurdle because of the transfer of development rights. Since what we understand is that this particular land, as you can see on my left, it belonged to the Mysore Royals, and it is on this particular land the trees, 112 trees, will be felled. Now the government has already acquired this particular land, and what we understand is that when we spoke to the BBMP conservator of forest, Shantakumar, he told us that they have been given permission, a green signal, to go ahead and fell these particular trees. However, they have also sent out a notice to the public inviting objections from the people to whether to go with the project or not. But when we spoke to some of the green activists, they are in fact up in arms, and they're saying this is in fact the BBMP, the civic body, should come up with various alternatives and not to reduce the green cover in the city. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Magicbricks Now.
As far as the Jaymahal road widening regard, ಅದು as concern ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಟೋಟಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆದೇಶ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಈಗ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಮರ, ಸೊ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಟ್ರೀ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರೀನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ತೆಗೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮರಗಳು ಕಟ್ಟಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಟ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಏಜ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು, ಕೊಂಬೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ದಪ್ಪ ಕೊಂಬೆ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ಆ ಥರದಿಂದ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೊರತು ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮಗೋದು I think after we'll start the work mostly as early as possible, another within a week ನಮಗೊಂದು ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, how many trees we are shifting and how many trees we are leaving. ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇದು ಅದೇ ಥರ ಬಿಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥದ್ದು, ಫೈನಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಒಂದು ಫಿಗರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದು, ರೋಡ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ರೋಡ್ ವೈಡನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಡು, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಎರಡು ದೃಷ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಒಂದು ಏಜ್ಡ್ ಮರನ ತೆಗೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಇನ್ನು ಮರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಇರೋ ಮರನೆಲ್ಲ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಥದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಜನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಕಂಜಂಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್.
This is totally an unconnected thing to the steel flyover, madam. Steel flyover project is being submitted, and also it is in the court. It's the pending. The court is in the Green Tribunal and all. Some hearing is going on, and after all the taking the decision only, the tree cutting and other things will come up. So now the question is, in this what you are now we are speaking of the Jaymahal Palace widening road. It is no way connected to the steel bridge. This is only widening for the purpose of the public easiness.
Also, have you acquired any land for this particular project?
Yeah, madam, we have acquired the palace area only, and they have done some legal formalities and all. And it has gone to the level of the Supreme Court also, and the Supreme Court has given an interim order to go ahead with the project and take the public opinion also. And according to the court order, we are going to the public this thing.
So you have also called for objections from the public. How are you going to take it forward? Like if you're receiving a number of majority of objections, how are you planning to take it forward?
Madam, I will receive the public whatever their objections and other things. And in the meantime, the most important thing is I want to go to the field again for 1 or 2 or 3 visits, and also take some environmentalists, and if possible some well interested good NGOs, even students to the thing, and I want to explain to them how it is useful and how we can develop the greenery also. We are not only simply destroying just because for the road widening, but at the same time we are making a beautiful road and also making a greenery along the side also. So more trees will be planted because of this thing.
Well, that's the debate tonight. We're talking about whether or not Bangalore needs to widen its roads at the cost of its trees. As you've known in the past, the citizens of Bangalore are extremely possessive about whatever is left of its green cover and tend to be extremely active citizens. We have citizens joining us on the show right now. We also have a phone line for any of you watching at home. For the government that says that it is going to have to widen this road at the cost of the trees, but we will plant new trees, we will move the ones that are already there. Is that enough? Should that be the plan going forward? That's the Jaymahal road that you're looking at on your screen right now. Also remember that the government has only given citizens 10 days, out of which only 8 days are left to file their complaints. Priya Chetty-Rajgopal is the activist who filed the complaint. Sridhar Pabbishetty, founder of Namma Bengaluru Foundation, joins us on the show. Prahlad is the chief engineer of road infrastructure at the BBMP, involved in the very project that we're talking about. And I'm very glad he joins us on the show because he'll be able to answer a lot of our questions. Vijay Nishant calls himself the tree doctor, is also an activist in Bangalore. I'm opening up the phone lines for all of our viewers to call us right now. Priya Chetty, I'm going to start with you. You heard the mayor just speak, Priya, and you heard, a representative of the Forest Conservation Department who both say, the mayor said very clearly that the trees will be moved. She said healthy trees will be moved and relocated. And also we heard that the greenery will be looked after. Why aren't you happy with that answer? Why do you want to still protest the chopping down of 112 trees?
That's a good question. I think Bangalore has just discovered that the only custodians that we have to maintain the environment of the city are its citizens. It seems like we are on a collision course with the powers that be. But Faye, there are some very basic, questions that have not been answered. There has been a lot of conversation about the steel flyover, and there has, the kind of damage that would wreak. But let's not even go there just now at this point. The obvious question of the damage that the trees will do because of being cut, the impact on carbon monoxide, oxygen. I mean, I was shocked to find that you're going to have 812,000 air conditioning hours equivalent, which is lost, because each tree runs about 20 hours, per person, equivalent of. What is really frightening is we don't really have any cooperation between the authorities. So recently we had a skywalk that was built in exactly the same, conjunction where the flyover is supposed to, with the steel bridge is supposed to come. They don't know, each one doesn't know what the other one is doing. So apart from the environmental impact, we are just not clear about what this widening will really do. And as civic citizens who have lost faith in what the BBMP development is really all about, given what we have seen in Bangalore, we would really demand to see what the road and engineering plans are, what effectively will happen if the road is widened. And I have a particularly, an interesting case of my own, which is personal, which I can relate. In front of our house, our road was widened, and as citizens, we peacefully gave it without questioning. We spent a lot of money on shifting the transformer, getting the parking all redone. We spent a lot of money, and we still haven't got any TDR from them. But we have not seen a single impact of that road widening, either in terms of traffic or anything. Trees were cut mercilessly on Palace Road for that. So we have not seen any impact.
Right. Let's take this point by point. Let's see the larger plan. And I want to bring in right now, Mr. Prahlad, who is the chief engineer. Very, very fair ask here on why are we widening this road? What is the larger plan? Is it really part of the steel flyover project? Now that the steel flyover has been stayed, what is this plan that the government has right now? Please tell us.
No, first of all, I thank everybody to calling for a debate and asking for our comments on the road. First, I thank the Times Now. And now, what I want to tell you is, this road, Jaymahal Road, is an alternative road to Ballari Road. One road, Jaymahal, connects the cantonment area, and Ballari Road connects the central district of Bangalore city. So we have this Jaymahal Road is not just planned abruptly. It is one of the road identified in the CDP 2015, RMP 2015. So it is 45 meters from the Bakery Circle to Nandidurg Road, and then it is 24 meters from Nandidurg Road to Cantonment Railway Station. So this road is planned in 2009 and wanted to implement it. We had gone with the negotiations with the Forest Royal Maharaja of Mysore and other things. So with all these things, this is a planned road which we wanted to do, and it is a greater connectivity. And after the implementation of the Bangalore International Airport, the trust for widening this road has been manifold. So we have taken up this road widening as a part of RMP 2015.
Prahlad, I just want to ask you this question. The mayor said that only the dead trees or the trees that run the risk of falling will be cut. The remaining will actually be relocated. And we've heard this relocating of trees before in the past. First time when the promenade in MG Road was cut down to make room for the metro. That promenade is gone now. There is a metro. We were promised, and this was many, many years ago, that those trees will be relocated. The same thing was said again for Mysore Road and Indira Nagar, where trees were lost. Have those trees been relocated? In their glory, have they been moved? Do they continue to live? Where are these trees, sir?
No.
First, I wanted to tell that what we have planned, the widening of the Jaymahal Road is to be looked, and people who are on the other part should understand how the road is being designed. The road is very designed environment friendly, and out of the 273 trees we have identified, we are able to save 161 trees. So we are bringing some of the trees which are there already in the central median and side medians and other things. So we can plant some more trees in the central medians and other places where we have already designed. And regarding the translocation of trees, we have already identified that Volvo has come forward to relocate the plants. So, but I want to tell everybody that there is certain limitations in shifting the trees. The trees which is having the girth more than 45 centimeters cannot be translocated. So we have identified in the 112 trees which have been marked to be removed or shifted, around 40 or 48 trees are to be translocated, and they are eligible for translocation. Some of the old trees which are there cannot be translocated because they have lost all its regrowable.
You didn't answer my question of where are the trees that were translocated from MG Road and from Indira Nagar and Mysore Road. So where are those trees right now?
See, that's what there is a limitation. See, the technology of translocation has been worked from the very long back, and now we have really identified what trees and what is the technology for retranslocation. The trees. Now, earlier days, yes, there was no certain definition for translocation of trees. It was only a idea. Now the idea is being implemented, and already you can see some of the trees in Madhya Pradesh, Singur coal fields. They are being shifted. The trees are being removed and shifted to a safe place. In the same way, we are also planning that about 40 to 48 trees are coming under the category of translocatable trees.
All right, Sridhar Pabbishetty. Sridhar Pabbishetty, I'm a little concerned about this number. 45 centimeters, a tree with a width of more than 45 centimeters cannot be translocated. That means that every full-grown, majestic old tree will have to be cut down. Now, also, the government is telling us, Sridhar, that this is not part of the steel flyover. This is a separate plan. So, why is it that citizens are still upset that this is maybe a backdoor entry of the steel flyover again?
Well, let's keep the steel flyover debate aside. We can come back and debate on that another day. Let's look at just the point of question of 112 trees, right? Has BBMP made an effort to even show to the public that what were the alternatives they considered, what were the economic and environmental trade-offs that were made, and what are the feasibility studies they did? This is the most absurd road widening project that you are seeing in Bangalore. I'll tell you why. If this is the congestion because of airport and this traffic into the city, there are three alternative paths that are going, there are two alternative paths to the place where this road is being widened. One is that comes inside the RT Nagar. The second is that comes through the JC Nagar, right? And these three will converge at a point where Mr. Prahlad said is going to be a 24 meter or a 29 meter road, right? So you are not solving the problem. You have to create a uniform capacity to carry traffic. You are creating a congestion. You are only shifting the bottleneck from Makery Circle on to the place where the old petrol bunk was there near the at the JC Nagar junction. So this is absurd, right? There is no traffic flow analysis done. There is no data that's presented by BBMP of saying, while I am sacrificing 60 trees and none of us will be able to go to Singur and see what happened to those translocated plants. BBMP is the most corrupt organization in the country. They have planted saplings with 2,500 rupees per sapling. 2,500 rupees per sapling. Let them refute the data.
If BBMP said that it is a corrupt, then we have to shut our mouth. That is not possible. They cannot shut our mouth. 2007, the CT has come out, the road has come out in the CDP, and that everybody knows that it is a...
Sir, please answer to the point of 2,500 rupees per sapling.
See, what you are talking about 2,500 is a different story altogether. You don't say that.
But BBMP story only.
You talk about the planning of the road.
Yes.
And are you aware how the BBMP has planned the road? It has planned in all the environment aspects have been considered, and we have changed it many times. Yes. First we planned to cut 273 trees, but after replanning and reinventing new ideas and bringing the trees inside the medians, we are very much sure that that is the best possible methodology. If we want development and if we want another thing,
then let's see the footpath and road alignment.
You know, I also want to bring in one more thing. Debbie Goenka joins us on the show. Let me bring in Debbie Goenka. Debbie Goenka is a very respected environmentalist from Mumbai. Debbie, so it's one thing to consider how the road can be widened, which is what Mr. Prahlad is telling us, that when they considered the plan, they tried as hard as possible to reduce the number of trees that will suffer. But should they have also considered perhaps bus rapid transport or some other way to use the existing road without having to widen it? Debbie, in your experience, could there have been other alternatives which had no environmental implications at all?
There are a large number of alternatives that should have been considered. In fact, everywhere around the world, they have discovered that the more roads you create, the more roads you widen, the more flyovers you build, the more motor vehicle traffic you attract. The solution to this problem is not to widen roads, it is not to build more flyovers, but it is to discourage private car use and private vehicle use. And BRT, metro, etc. are these kind of solutions to go for. In fact, Singapore offers the perfect example of what can be done to regulate private car ownership. They actually option license plates, and sometimes the cost of a license plate, that is the permission to use a car on the road, is about 5 to 10 times the value of the car. And that license plate is only valid for 10 years. After 10 years, you have to go through that process again. And that restriction on private cars is then backed by cheap public transport and by congestion prices. So if they are assuming that they widen this road and cut all these 1,000 odd trees, what is they going to do after 5 years when the number of cars again increases exponentially? So this is not a solution at all. This is a very short-term kind of thing. And in terms of the environmental damage that will create, obviously it is something that should never be allowed.
Right. So let me also bring in Vijay Nishant. Vijay Nishant, this is the question at the end of the day. When you cut down 100 trees or 50 trees or 40 trees and you replace them with new trees or saplings, what sort of an environmental implication does that have?
Sorry to say, they don't have a clue actually. There is a report called How Green Was My Makery Circle. This has been put in 2011 for this one. Justice Shailendra Kumar asked if above 50 trees are there, it has to be put across the tree committee. High Court has been passed documentation and it has to go through that one. Then it has to go to the objection. And before that one, that report has to be put. And whatever I have seen all the trees, their girth are more than 300 centimeter. And you can't replace that, whatever the damage after you're cutting, going to do it. And the 112 number, I won't believe in that one, because we have done a census in that stretch. Actually, it's more than 112. And there is a report called How Green Was My Makery Circle. You will exactly know what is the disadvantage is going to happen. And in the same stretch, there is a scheduled species. There is a slender loris species is also there. So the forest department, whatever the Shant Kumar has said it, he has come day before yesterday. Nobody has a clue. If nobody has a clue, how can they say we'll put into the for a permission for a cutting? If some tree officer not seen the place and everything, how can they do it? It clearly shows what they are doing it. There is no link between one and another two, and it is very, very important that High Court has given this one above 50 tree. It has to go to the tree committee. And for your kind information, there is a tree committee exists in the Bangalore. They want to route against them. And there is another problem, transplantation don't work in almost all this kind of a tree. It won't happen because I work with the metro to do a lot of transplantation. And there is no guarantee that this tree will be surviving. And the other part is how you will going to embers that whatever the tree 112 or something you're going to cut it.
So Vijay Nishant, let's take these one at a time.
And 100 years tree also. How can you going to reimburse?
All right.
The damage will be already done.
Okay, let's take these questions one at a time. Mr. Prahlad.
Rather than getting into this kind of a problem.
Mr. Prahlad, first question. Was the tree committee of Bangalore consulted? Is it necessary for the tree committee of Bangalore to be consulted?
Yes, absolutely. What all the statutory rules and regulations under the Act has to be followed. Mr. Shantakumar, who is the Assistant Conservator of Forest, will follow due course of law, and he will consult all the stakeholders, and there is no doubt, and we are working transparently on that issue. And Mr. Vijay Nishant also will be consulted. I will also speak to Mr. Shantakumar to take all the stakeholders into confidence and see that the best possible plan is approved before we implement it.
Second question, Mr. Prahlad, one second, I will come to you. Were the other options considered, like a bus rapid transport system, to connect the 2 points that you talked about? You said that it's coming out of cantonment, it's an alternative to the Bellary Road. If you had considered a bus rapid transport system that will move people rapidly instead of encouraging more cars, was that considered before you arrived at road widening?
As you know, the Bangalore is having narrow lanes. I always would, in a lighter way, I would tell that Bangalore city is a pampered city, which is causing a problems at this stage. So we at that time should have very broad roads where we could have implemented the BRTS in a ease. But in a city like Bangalore, and the culture of Bangaloreans are that they are preferring, even though we are making many steps forward for encouraging mass transport system, people are still having the interest in taking their own private transport system. You may be aware, these days the auto are becoming lesser and the taxis are increasing in numbers, which is
out to you. Let me point out to you. Hang on. Mr. Prahlad, let me point out to you that if the government of Karnataka or the government of Bangalore cared even this much for the environment, banning carpooling is not something you would have done. If your concern is really the fact that you won't want so many taxis on the road, you would have allowed more than one person to get into a taxi and book a taxi at a time. Now, you've actively gone out and stopped that, and now the government is telling us that you are concerned that fewer autos and more taxis are on the road. I have Sridhar Pabbishetty. Sridhar, respond to this. It's a fair question. Now, a lot of the people in the government have come around and told us that people are complaining about traffic all the time. And then when they want to fix the roads, then you're complaining that they're fixing the roads. So you should really pick your complaint. Sridhar, respond to that and respond to the fact that Prahlad just said that the citizens of Bangalore, despite everything the government is doing, are still insisting on using your own cars. Why are you using your own cars, Sridhar?
I think it's plain stupid of Mr. Prahlad to say that. There are 50 lakh people 50 lakh trips happen on the BMTC every single day. There is more than half of Bangalore which really believes in public transport to travel. Secondly, as you rightly mentioned, this is the same government which also has the temerity to go and ban carpooling, which is much efficient than individual cars going around. And thirdly, Mr. Prahlad has not come around to answering the second question which he said he will answer of how can BBMP buy a sapling at 2,500 rupees. This is the kind of scammed organization that we are talking about. And he didn't still answer to me a basic engineering question. As chief engineer of roads, I expect him to have the basic decency to answer me, telling why do you need a 45-meter carriageway from Mekri Circle till the midpoint of Jaymahal, and then converge it where 3 roads will converge and go from there in the 24-meter carriageway. Does it even make sense? And you are actually widening the road at the wrong place, right? No amount of basic engineering will justify this.
Let's ask Mr. Prahlad to answer that question. He is the engineer.
Before I came to this debate, I had given the plan to be displayed over this debate, but unfortunately that plan which is designed by BBMP is not displayed. Now, if Sridhar, what he says, he is saying that there is convergence. The convergence to make a circle. See, one road it is leading from cantonment. The another road is leading from the Miller Road, that is through Nandidurg Road. Nandidurg Road is 18-meter road and Jaymahal Road is a 24-meter road. So both converging will actually activate to 30 to 42 meters. So 45 meters is justified. One more thing is, in the 45 meters, whole of the thing is not designed to be a carriageway. There are medians and side medians also to accommodate trees. This space going effectively, it will be 24-meter lane, and I expect decency from the Sridhar, who is telling stupid and other things. It is absolutely absurd, and he should behave properly and talk sensibly.
I will
so if I may ask a clarificatory question.
One second. Sridhar, one second. Let me just make a point.
I request the anchor.
Yes.
I request the anchor to hold on to the tongue of Sridhar Pabbishetty.
Okay,
If
no,
I may-
okay,
if I
hang
may-
on.
if I
Sridhar
may just
Pabbishetty, one
seek
second,
a
one second,
clarification.
One second. Everyone stop for a second. I will ask all of our panelists to respect each other. Everyone is here and everyone's qualified to be here. Let's refrain from making personal
And
statements.
I also want, what is the qualification of Mr. Sridhar
One second,
Pabbishetty,
sir.
who is talking so much of transportation? I
One
want
second.
his known, what is his qualification?
Let me just bring in a caller.
So-
Sridhar and Prahlad, just hold on for 1 second. I don't want this to turn into a personal slugfest. I just want to focus on the problem at hand, because the people who are watching are being educated by the statements that are being made. So we want to be careful about what we are saying. Karan Sharma is on the phone line from Bangalore, and he has a very interesting thing to add to this conversation. Karan, thank you for holding. I've kept you on hold for a while. Go ahead. You're on the show. Karan, mute your television in the background, please, and go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, the panel. I am Colonel Sharma here, an army officer.
Okay, Colonel Sharma, go ahead.
Yeah, now what is being discussed now is something the activists should not. I am also an activist. We can't, at the first and the foremost, cast aspersions on the officials who are either from BBMP or from BDA.
Okay, why not?
I'll tell you, see, I mean, with the due respects to the activists like Priya and Pabbishetty, Sridhar, I'd like to say one thing. I have been staying on this road for quite some time. I do know what are the problems being faced.
Okay.
Now, firstly, when we think of Bangalore's development, and when there's a lot of influx of business, calling in people, and this happens to be the CBD area. It's not the MG Road or the Brigade Road and the Kormangla, which is the CBD. Now it has extended up to the Hebbal flyover.
Okay.
And there's a lot of congestion. I mean, when we crib about what you call a lot of traffic jams and lack of infrastructure, and when BBMP does take some action, instead of thinking holistically and objecting to it, we need to go for it and see how it can be done. There may be 118 trees or 200 trees. I know, I am also a tree activist. I do a lot of plantations and all those things.
Okay, so what you're saying, Colonel Sharma, is that when the BBMP is taking a step towards reducing the traffic, we should work with them instead of opposing them. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. We need to give in our constructive criticism or constructive points to them.
Okay.
But I know this road because when you're coming from the North Bangalore, after crossing Hebbal and coming to Makery Circle.
Okay, and it's congested. All right, I got your point, and I'm going to take that to the activists. And I also want to point out that when we were doing our research, and I looked at Twitter, and I looked at what people were saying about Jaymahal Road on Twitter, more people were complaining about the traffic than they were talking about the loss of trees. There was a lot of complaining about traffic on the Jaymahal Road. Priya, I'll take this question to you first, and then I'll go to Vijay Nishant. Priya first. Priya, why, like the caller just pointed out, if the BBMP is working towards reducing traffic, why are you opposing it?
Good. I don't know whether I can take the tag of an activist, and I completely respect Colonel Sharma's point of view. Being there, it's difficult and it's hard. Being a Bangalorean in traffic today, it's really, really hard. So it's very hard to also have a holistic point of view and to look at it from a larger perspective, more futuristic. I can understand that. Now, working with the BBMP or the BDA makes a lot of sense if there is proven success. Now, the number of cases that I myself have shared, and some of it I've felt personally, I've had one occasion as recently as 2 days ago where, something that I pointed out was on the front pages of the papers because the BBMP and the BDA had not even talked to each other and had broken down 2 trees, pruned about another 5 just because they didn't talk to each other, and the 2 trees have gone. So there's a lack of trust. So if we allow an organization or organizations that are doing what I truly believe is their best, without sharing the information out in the public domain with us, we do not have the trust to be able to follow it through. And at the end of it, the result is only a negative thing for Bangalore. And that is what concerns me. So my question is that I really truly appreciate the fact that they've put this out in the public domain. They've asked for inputs from the public because there are more than 50 trees to be cut. I would request for one more input, which I think in all fairness the BBMP should be happy to give us, given the fact that they have done so much of research and they understand the space very well. And that is, give us the engineering drawing, give us the road and footpath, which starts from Mekri, goes up to Kaveri, and that whole section that's going to be widened.
Right.
So that's something that we need. I want to quickly tell you about this one small example. 2 days ago, a skywalk was made between the military park and the planetarium, where absolutely nobody crosses. There's another sky bridge which is being unused just about 100 meters down. But in order to do that, this was in the path of the proposed steel flyover. So you'd assume the government would know what they're doing, that this is the path for the proposed steel flyover. They're building a sky bridge which will, with our taxpayers' money, be destroyed if in case the flyover were to come up, which in the unlikely event of it actually happening.
Let's allow Prahlad, Mr. Prahlad, to respond to that. To also be fair, he did say a little earlier on the show that the drawings are being put up. He's instructed that they be made public. They just haven't been done yet. Mr. Prahlad, go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, number one, before I came to the show, I gave the engineering drawing which have been made, and I wanted it to be published. Okay, due to some technical issues, the drawing is not published. However, the drawings are ready and it is for public view, number one. Secondly, the skywalk thing, which is Priya is indicating, was a skywalk which was sanctioned about 2 years back. So the same thing was to be implemented in the recent past, and few activists called me, and also some of the news agencies also called me and said, this is skywalk they are trying to start up, and that still flyover ramp is also converging into that. So we have immediately stopped. So it is a constructive criticism which we really expect. Sometimes in a huge organization like BBMP, here and there are some slips which we really welcome the citizens.
Mr. Prahlad, I have this question for you. Actually, this is, I appreciate what you're saying. I really do. My question is this. So for the citizens of Bangalore who might be watching right now, if they see that there is a preparation to cut a tree, or the action of cutting a large tree has begun, should they get in touch immediately with the BBMP, highlight the issue so that they can save the tree, they can get the BBMP to sort of cross-reference? Like you said, it's a large organization, and the information might get lost. Is that something that you will welcome?
Yeah, definitely we will welcome public criticism, and also public should be working with us. It is a partnership, it is between the public and the private. Here we have really, for Jaymahal Road, we have been working from a very long time, and we have put up the 112 trees which are to be removed at present, and we are also working on translocation. We have been working with the Institute of Wood Science to give us solutions, so that we can save another 48 trees. So we are open to public debate, and also expect support to do a good infrastructure project for Bangalore city.
All right, I have Santosh. Right, I have Santosh on the phone line. I have Santosh on the phone line. 1 second. From Bangalore, I want to take this call, and then I'll come to you, Vijay Nishant. Santosh, go ahead.
Hi, this is Santosh from Bangalore. My question or my suggestion is there to Mr. Prahlad. I think he is currently talking about the decongestion the city, and he also talked about the CDP plan being ready in 2009. Actually, if you can see that from last 8 years, they have not implemented that. So actually, there is no proper vision with the BBMP or the government. What is happening is they are trying to decongest, with this road widening, but they are not really looking at where the problem is arising from. The problem is mostly arising from two parts. One is the rapid growth of the North Bangalore, and also from the airport side. So what could be the major reasons? The reasons is that more people are traveling towards airport and also from North Bangalore. They're not looking at the option of bringing metro into this area, because that is much planned.
The metro is a better solution. All right, we're going to take, I have to take a very, very quick break, but we're going to come back, and then Vijay Nishant and Debbie Goenka are going to respond also to what is being said right now. On the other side, why isn't the metro being used to decongest the area? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're talking about Bangalore and its trees that are currently at risk. 112 trees will be felled to broaden the Jaymahal road in Bangalore. The citizens, from what we understand, are split down the middle. Should Bangalore lose its trees in the name of decongestion of traffic and progress? Is that really progress? Are there other options that we can consider? And I also want to point out that Prahlad, who is the Chief Engineer of Road Infrastructure in BBMP, who's working on this project right now, has spent time with us answering questions, and we continue to answer those questions. Our phone numbers are on the screen. Vijay Nishant, I know you wanted to make a point before we went into break. Go ahead, Vijay.
Sir, Prahlad, sir, that I wanted to ask that till your TV station you are telling 112 tree. See, beyond that one, the real congestion comes because it narrows down. And you have marked the trees over there. Can you make it sure that it's only a 112 tree here? Are you sure? Because at that point, from there also you mark the tree because cantonment to this is the region. And I really wanted to make understand why only this part is taken, because that part is also like a narrow, it will be like a congested. Why only initially you're taking this much one? I really never understood. But road widening, if you ask you're supposed to take it from a Guthaldi to L-shape to the cantonment. That is it's not clear, sir. That is where I'm very...
Answer the question that the caller asked before the break. Answer the question the caller asked before the break was, why isn't the metro being used to decongest that area when we're talking about cantonment to Makri Circle down to the, out to the airport, which is really the reason why traffic is going in that direction. Why has the metro not been considered?
Actually, the metro is already contemplating different plans for taking through that area to the Kempegowda International Airport. So, as such, the plans are not yet freezed or finalized, and that should be answered by a suitable authority of the BMRCL.
Go on. And the question of how the other trees, are you sure that more trees are not going to cut? You're going to be cut. If you do the road widening to this point, will you need to widen it further and lose more trees in the future? Is this just phase one?
No. Vijay Nishant asked a very relevant question. And this road widening is 2.8 kilometers, and it is from Makri Circle to Cantonment Railway under bridge. So the whole length is considered, and considering the whole length, it is most of the trees which are there already in Jaymahal Road from Makri Circle to TV Tower will be saved, and very few trees which are coming away from the TV Tower up to Cantonment Railway Station is getting axed. So only I am telling it is 112 trees considering the whole length of 2.8 kilometers.
Prahlad sir, I am really sorry to say, then it is not 112 tree, it's more than 112 tree, because we have done a census over there. I'm really not satisfied. I'm really sorry, because I have the data with me.
No,
it is more than 100.
The plans, Mr. Vijay, the plans are ready. And you can have a visual, you can see the plans, and also you can meet Mr. Shantakumar, who have done 3 to 4 times survey. He has done all the measurement of all the trees and also marked which species are coming on that road, and you can satisfy yourself.
Prahlad sir, Shant Kumar I met yesterday to give an objection certificate. He has not visited the site. I'm very clear about it because he took a charge only yesterday. I'm really not going to agree with this point. And the numbers are not solid. I'm very clear about it.
What are the numbers according to you, Vijay?
This one stretch, no?
Vijay, what are the numbers according to you?
Report on environmental and ecological impact of a tree felling for a proposed steel fire and Bendari Road and road widening Jaymahal Main Road by Dr. Harini Ananda. I'm also part of it. I'm very clear about that one, that stretch. It's not 112 tree. I'm very confident about this one.
What is the number according to you? Vijay Nishant, what is the number according to you?
BBMP for a metro to like a...
What is the number according to you, Vijay?
Taking a development and greening activity. So we have to be very careful, and we are in a national this one. I really wanted you to tell again that it's not a more than 112 tree. I have to very clear because I know it's more than 112 tree. It comes in that stretch. I'm very clear about it.
All right. I have Manjunath who's on the phone line from Bangalore right now who wants to join the conversation. Manjunath, go ahead. You're on the show.
Yeah, I was watching the TV. What I really am shocked at, the Bangalore is known for, and it's called as Garden City, right? Now, by removing the trees, what are we going to claim? The Garden City, or as it is already being called as Garbage City? First thing. Second thing, I've seen a certain amount of compound next to the compound of the palace wall. There's been almost about 20-30 feet the road already been left for the road, and which has been laying without being used for last 2 years. Because I use those roads at almost 3 times in a week. And that road is laying as it is. At least they would have tried to make some arrangement temporarily to use that instead of straight away going to cut the trees.
All right, that's a good question. I understand what you're saying. MB Munal.
I have just quick question.
Wait, can I come in, please?
Yeah. All right, Debbie Goenka, go ahead, and then Sridhar. Debbie Goenka.
Yeah, I want to actually ask Mr. Prahlad 2 or 3 things. I mentioned this point before, but as I started off by saying, experience all over the world is that you cannot solve the problems of traffic congestion and traffic this thing by road widening or by building new roads or by building flyovers.
Yes.
The solution is to encourage public transportation and to discourage private transportation. Second point is this answer to your earlier question about the metro clearly indicates that there is no comprehensive transportation plan prepared for the city. Mr. Prahlad seems to be the chief engineer in charge of roads. Somebody else is in charge of metro. Somebody else is in charge of something else. And everybody is to be doing their thing, which is not really solved the problem. And the third question that you were asked, you cannot replace a 100-year-old tree or a 50-year-old tree with a sapling. I think to replace a 100-year-old tree, you might have to plant as many as 500 saplings for each 100-year-old tree that you cut down, if you want to compensate for the ecological services that the tree offers. And there's no point planting trees somewhere else, because you need the oxygen, you need the shade, right. You need the whatever services the tree is planting at the site itself. I mean, if I am living in a building and the tree next to my building is cut, there's no point telling me 50 trees have been planted 3 meters away or 30 meters away. Those trees are of no use to trees.
Well, Mr. Prahlad, that's an excellent question too. Does Bangalore not have a comprehensive travel plan or a transport plan? If you head right now the road infrastructure, is there enough conversation happening between you and the person who's heading the metro and the person who's heading the bus transport so that there's actually a clearer plan? Because from what we understand, and you've accepted yourself, it's a large organization with a lot of departments, there's obviously not enough conversation happening.
For this reason, we have a coordination committee under the Chief Secretary, and he is calling and he is taking meetings every 3rd Saturday of the month, and he is calling all the stakeholders of Bangalore City, the traffic police, the BMRCL, BESCOM, BWSSB, all other stakeholders of the city, and we are having coordination meetings, and various policies are being formulated, like high density corridors to be developed and east-west corridor, elevated road, everything is to be put in place. So we are working on various policies, and we are having a coordination committee under the Chief Secretary, and every 3rd Saturday we are having that meeting, and we are conducting it regularly also.
So, the answer is you don't have a comprehensive transportation plan.
Yeah, you don't have a comprehensive transportation plan. Sudhakar is on the phone line from Bangalore.
We are having, now we are working, the BDA is working on Comprehensive Development 2031, in which it is all collaborating, all the plans, all the transportation plans of various agencies also.
Sir, by 2031, we are going to lose all the trees in the city, if that is the plan that we are working on?
No, 2031. We are working on the 2031 CDP, and all the policies of various transport system is being put in place and also being studied.
All right, Sudhakar is on the phone line from Bangalore. Sudhakar, go ahead, very quickly.
Yeah, good evening, the panel. I am Sudhakar from Bangalore.
Yes.
I've been interestingly watching the program. See, there are two things to be understood.
Yes.
See, Bangalore, do we call for people to, and call it the Silicon City of India? Naturally, you will start getting things. Because I've traveled to Hong Kong, I've traveled to various places, I know what is it.
Okay.
See, this much of what you call activism of trees and things don't go vis-a-vis the, what you call, the development. We have got a limited space. You start encroaching, you have to cut trees. Either we should have a holistic view of not saying everybody come over to Bangalore.
But Mr. Sudhakar, I appreciate the point you're making. You're basically saying over-activism will prevent Bangalore from reaching its full potential. You took Hong Kong as an example. Would you not agree that Hong Kong has a completely holistic, as a city, travel plan, which involves its metros, it involves boats over, over the water. There's water transport. There is a very, very fast metro line that runs between the airport and the rest of the city in Hong Kong. So all of that prevents people from taking their cars out onto the road, that way saving whatever green cover the city might have. Now, until we can work really towards that sort of comprehensive plan, shouldn't the activists push the government to think in that direction, Sudhakar?
I'm fully with the activists. We do want the, what you call, green cover. I'm not denying that. But, see, we are caught in a quagmire, basically. We are caught in a catch-22 situation of where, whether to develop or not to develop. If the government doesn't develop, the government has a meeting. If it oversteps, then we are the activists who are trying to oppose them.
Okay. All right. Let's get answers to your question. Sridhar Pabbishetty, is the question to develop or not to develop, or how to develop?
There's one more question that has to be answered. We seem to be the only country in the world that builds the infrastructure after the other projects come up. Nowhere else in the world does this happen.
All right. Sridhar Pabbishetty, go ahead.
And China and all, they build the infrastructure and then they build the buildings and the other things.
Yeah. So fundamentally, sir, I agree with you that it's not a question of development versus greenery. We have to develop and we have to also be green. Let me give you an example of what happened in Singapore. When they look at congestion planning and they came up with a comprehensive mobility plan in which they actually focused on improving public transport, and they increased the share of public transport by over 10% over a few-year period. That is completely lacking in our city. The second challenge that I'll tell you is that if you go on either side of the Bangalore Palace, the biggest congestion that comes in is also the weddings that happen in the Chowdhury and all the unplanned other activities.
All right.
The rampant commercialization in residential areas in Bangalore has gone on unchecked. There are 53,000 trade licenses that.
Okay, all right, I understand. Corruption has led to unplanned development in Bangalore, as it has in most of our cities, and that's the reason why we're facing the problem.
Yeah, the number of trade licenses is 2.15 lakhs, say. So, where are 2.15 lakh commercial trade licenses according to the taxes department, but BBMP only knows about 53,000 commercial establishments. When there are commercial establishments, won't there be parking? Won't there be congestion? There are other ways to travel, remove congestion. Remove the public functions that happen at Bangalore Palace, and then remove the commercialization that's happened on that access. Remove the roadside parking. That will give you easily 40% of additional capacity.
All right.
Why aren't you doing these simple things?
All right. I'm going to give one final word. Mr. Prahlad, I have about 30 seconds. If there is a commitment or a message you want to give the citizens of Bangalore who are watching right now, please use this platform to do so.
Yeah. I welcome all the citizens to participate with the programs of BBMP, and we are there to accept their suggestions, and we also will promise them that 100% transparency will be maintained in implementation of all the projects in Bangalore City.
All right, we appreciate the fact that the government is welcoming responses from citizens. Remember, you have 8 days to go before you can give in your objections to the road widening of Jaymahal Road. But on this channel, we'll keep an eye on it, and we will keep an eye on the transparency that has been promised to us. I have to wrap up this show right now, but I want to thank our panelists for making time, especially Prahlad, of the chief engineer of the BBMP, who's been very kind and who's answered all of the questions that have been asked of him and of the government. But the question will continue to come up. trees versus roads. But we have to also remember that there are other ways to do it. There is the bus rapid transport, for which you only need 2 roads. You need 2 lanes. You don't need 3 or 4 lanes. Enough for a bus to pass through. A bus can carry as many people as maybe 20 or 30 cars can. Consider that. That's a wrap on the urban debate. The conversation, though, continues. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.